To prove to her bestie that her husband is the GOAT, my ex-wife actually dared to go mountain climbing with her best friend's man to train her body. Yeah, I was done. I immediately hit her with the divorce papers, no hesitation. The exact moment we stepped out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, my ex didn't even look back, hopped in a ride and dialed her bestie. With a bubbly tone, she chirped, "Bestie, I'm finally free today. You and your man get out here. We're hitting the club and partying all night. We aren't stopping until we drop," while I felt a weight lift off my shoulders for the first time ever. I looked up at the sky, and for the first time in forever, I actually saw a future for myself. Ding. Congratulations, host, for unlocking the life-changing wealth system. Starter pack of 100 million has been deposited. Wait, was that a notification sound? Am I finally losing my mind from the sheer hype? Buzz buzz. My phone blew up. I checked the balance, 100 million flat. My eyes nearly popped out, but I played it cool. I planned to hit the sauna to wash off the bad vibes, but as I hit the third floor, a familiar voice called out, Is that you, Shu?" I turned around, and of course it's the one person I absolutely didn't want to see. Standing there is none other than my ex-wife's bestie, Lin Mixu. Even in a loose bathrobe, she couldn't hide that insane top-tier figure of hers. I glanced for a second and quickly looked away, respectfully. Mixu? What a coincidence. I had no idea what to say. Gotta stay polite, though. Yeah, what a small world. Didn't expect to run into you here. Lin Mixu felt a bit awkward, but honestly, she was kind of vibing with the situation. Her bestie Nana just got divorced, and now she's bumping into the ex-husband at a spa. This felt like breaking some kind of forbidden taboo. About that, I heard the news about you and Nana. It's honestly such a shame. So many years together, never thought it'd end like this. Ain't nothing a shame about it, honestly. You know how it was between us. Breaking up is the best move for both of us. We only stayed together this long because of the kid, but now that the kid's grown and understands, why keep the drama going? Instead of making each other miserable, it's better to let go and live our own lives. Lin Mixu chuckled. Honestly, Nana just didn't know how to treasure a good thing. Mr. Shu, you're such a great guy, you'll definitely find someone way better later. Even though I knew she was just throwing out polite small talk, I nodded and thanked her anyway. By the way, Mixu, what are you up to these days? Still working at that real estate firm? Yeah, still stuck at that same gig for 6 years now, literally nowhere else to go. Lin Mixu shook her head with a heavy sigh. What's wrong? Isn't that supposed to be the biggest real estate firm in town? I heard the benefits and pay are absolutely cracked over there. Brother Shu, that was ancient history, you know how it is. The property market is literally dead right now. Houses aren't moving at all. We're practically starving over here, living on ramen and dreams. I let out a sigh. For real, I don't buy it for a second. Anyway, speaking of housing, I actually had something to ask you. I acted like a light bulb just went off. Look, Nana and I finally pulled the plug and got divorced. I walked away with absolutely nothing, so I'm currently homeless, even if I could crash at the office dorms. But hey, I'm a different man now, and I'm definitely not going back to that broke loser lifestyle. What's up? Brother Shu, just spill it. If I can help, you know I'm down. Lin Mixu said with a cheeky grin. She patted her chest twice, thud thud, and my heart definitely skipped a beat. Do you guys have any units that are fully finished? Something I could move into right this second? I asked. Of course we do, Brother Shu. Are you looking to cop a new crib? Lin Mixu's energy suddenly went through the roof. Yeah, you know Nana and I are donezo. Obviously I need a new place to crash. I kept it chill, I'm looking for the real deal. Brother Shu, let me take you to see some units right now. Once she heard that, Lin Mixu ditched the sauna plans and started dragging me out the door. Whoa, why the rush? We haven't even relaxed yet, and house hunting is a major mission. We can hit the sauna after we secure the bag on a new place. Wait here for me for a sec, okay? Let me go change out of this. Hearing her say that, I thought about it for a second. It actually made total sense. Even though I'm currently swimming in cash and definitely not going to be homeless, I'd need a spot sooner or later anyway. Since I already ran into Lin Mixu and she's being this extra, I might as well just go along for the ride. I sat in the lobby for a bit until Lin Mixu finally finished changing and walked out. She turned a basic office uniform into an absolute fashion statement. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my heart from doing backflips in my chest. How did you get here? I walked here. Why do you ask? Lin Mixu scanned me up and down while asking. I rode my bike. Let's just split up and meet at the office entrance, alright? I said that as I started walking toward the brand new T-Max 560 I just copped. Sure, wait. Is that your bike? Lin Mixu froze mid-sentence when she saw me strut over to that beast of a motorcycle and hop right on. Yeah, just picked it up. I kept it cool and hit her with the casual flex. As I put on my helmet, Lin Mixu couldn't stop herself from staring at the ride. That's sick. How much was this thing? Even though she doesn't know a thing about bikes, she could tell by the sleek finish that this bad boy cost a fortune. Just as I was wondering how to answer her, "Yo bro, nice ride. Is that the new T-Max 560? A Harley roared up and pulled to a stop right next to us. The guy popped his helmet off and started geeking out over my bike. These are impossible to find right now. The market price is easily 170K. I just smiled and kept the convo going with him for a second. I was just making small talk, but someone else was definitely listening. When she heard that this cool motorcycle actually cost 170K, it hit different. Lin Mixu's eyes went wide as saucers. She's been grinding at the office for over 6 years. She literally just bit the bullet and bought a tiny car last year. And she's still drowning in monthly payments. And here I am with a two-wheeled toy that costs as much as 2 of her cars combined. Lin Mixu doesn't know bikes, and she definitely can't compute why a motorcycle costs more than an actual sedan. Looking at me again, she listened to Chu, thinking, I handed over my full salary every month and lived on a 500 yuan allowance. Yet the second he gets divorced, he's dripping in designer gear. And today he's rocking a high-end superbike? Don't tell me this guy was actually a secret billionaire all along. Has he been playing the broke loser act just to level up in secret? But with Chuna's sharp eyes, how did she never sniff this out after all this time? Lin Mixu felt like she just uncovered the ultimate conspiracy. Brother Z, can I get a ride on your bike? Calling a taxi is a hassle, and they're definitely not as fast as this beast. Sure, hop on. Hearing Lin Mixu say that, I didn't overthink it. I patted the back seat to signal her to get on. Mixu climbed on, stared at my back, hesitated for a second, then wrapped her arms around my waist. I could feel those soft hands pressed right against me, radiating heat, and I couldn't help but shudder, desperately trying to purge the impure thoughts from my brain, focusing on blending into the traffic instead. Arriving at the sales center, Lin Mixu switched straight into professional mode, pulling out a thick folder of listings. And while flipping through, she asked me, Brother Z, what kind of house are you looking to rent? I'm looking for something fully furnished, but I'm not here to rent. If you've got something good, I want to drop the cash and buy it outright. Hearing that, Lin Mixu's jaw hit the floor in pure shock. She truly didn't expect this guy, fresh off his divorce with Chuna, to be ready to go house hunting like a whale. Looking at her stunned face, I found it kind of hilarious yet deeply satisfying. Truth be told, I don't really hate Lin Mixu. We're all adults, everyone's got their own agenda, especially someone like Lin Mixu, who's both a total bombshell and knows exactly how to play her cards. I gotta say, watching this woman's face turn into a series of shocked memes is actually pretty entertaining. Renting is too much of a headache, and I don't want to deal with moving twice. Can you check if there are any luxury units available at Jinjiang Garden that fit the vibe? And yeah, it's gotta be fully furnished so I can move in today. I'm not wasting time on interior design. I laughed. Big luxury apartment at Jinjiang Garden, you got it? After hearing that, Lin Mixu seriously started wondering if she was hallucinating. Camjiang, the city's most elite waterfront residential zone, located right in the heart of the luxury district. It's an oasis of calm in the chaotic city, featuring high-rise mega mansions that boast insane floor plans over 600 square meters. Tam had been here twice before to show model units to high-roller clients, and the sheer untouchable opulence left her absolutely stunned, and honestly, green with envy. But now this random basic-looking dude wants to buy a penthouse here. Is she dreaming or is she just delusional? Brother Shu, you're not joking with me, are you? Prices here are nearly 30,000 per meter, and even the smallest units start at over 200 square meters. Only 200 square meters? That's a bit small, isn't it? I remember seeing the advertisement. The prime spot in the center is a massive 680 square meter luxury suite. Is it still on the market? Brother Shu, why are you even asking about that? Lin Mixu stammered, clearly shook. I'm asking because I'm gonna buy it, obviously. Do you think I'm asking for the plot? I laughed, finding the whole situation hilarious. We reached Unit 601, and a trembling Lin Mixu unlocked the door and handed me some shoe covers. We stepped inside, straight into the lap of luxury. I hadn't even reached the living room yet, but that massive entrance hall already had me hooked. Compared to this, that 106 square meter 3-bedroom apartment I lived in before looks like a literal slum. We walked into the master bedroom, and seeing that 2.2 meter king-sized bed, my satisfaction hit an all-time high. That spacious wooden bed looks like a dream to sleep in. Would be even better if I had a gorgeous waifu keeping me company. Thinking about that, I couldn't help but glance at Lin Mixu standing right next to me. To be fair, even though Lin Mixu is over 30, that pure, elegant vibe of hers is something these younger girls just can't compete with. She's easily an 85 plus on the scale. Feeling my gaze on her, Lin Mixu's face turned bright red, but she didn't look away. In fact, there was a little glint of excitement in her eyes. After checking the bedroom, we strolled through the rest of the place. I was totally sold, so what's the damage on this place? The final asking price is 30 million yuan. Brother Shu, how about I take you to see some cheaper options instead? Lin Mixu softly replied, sure, let's head over and sign the paperwork. I casually dropped the bomb, look, I actually want to buy this place, but it costs 30 million yuan, you know. Lin Mixu's eyes went wide. Wait, what? I said I want this place, even though it's 30 million. That's right, I've got my heart set on it. Are you going to tell me we can't afford it? I shot her a smirk, half joking, watching her react to being completely played for the second time. My inner sadist is getting a massive ego boost right now. Lin Mixu struggled to nod, fine, follow me downstairs to handle the paperwork. She was completely spaced out the entire walk down. It wasn't until I pulled out my bank card and was about to swipe that she finally snapped back to reality. The penthouse was a cool 30 million, Even the manager came running out to witness the spectacle. The entire sales team crowded around as I jammed my card into the terminal, punched in the PIN, got that approved notification, and watched the long receipt print out. Congratulations, Mr. Shu, you are now our most prestigious homeowner. Then every single staff member at Dongla bowed to me in unison. They actually sold it. The kid really pulled it off. Watching the scene unfold, Lin Mixu gulped hard. Lin, listen up. Mr. Shu is our VIP of the year. You are officially his dedicated account assistant. Whatever Mr. Shu wants, you give it to him, no questions asked. Am I clear? Manager Ma stood over Lin Mixu, his voice deathly serious. Catching the vibe behind the manager's words, especially that part about no questions asked. Lin Mixu's face turned bright red as she realized what that implied. She stepped out of the real estate office and hopped onto the back of my bike. This time, she didn't hesitate to wrap her arms around my waist. As we pulled away, she hesitated for a second before pressing her body firmly against my back. I was focused on the road when I suddenly felt that soft, warm sensation against my spine. That really tested my grip on the handlebars, let me tell you. Thankfully, the bike's top-tier balance saved. Lin Mixu was sitting behind me with her heart racing like a drum. She kept trying to sit up straight, but the thought of that massive 600 square meter penthouse at Jinjiang Yuan kept her glued to my back. Finally, she buried her face in my shoulder, catching a whiff of the high-end cologne on my jacket, and honestly, the vibe was just intoxicating. The entire department store, the absolute biggest flex in the entire city. A few hours ago, I was here blowing 200,000 on my own drip. Never thought I'd be back this fast. Back in my broke boy days, I wouldn't step foot in a luxury spot like this even twice a year. As we strutted into the mall together, I could feel everyone's eyes glued to us. The guys were straight up jealous, and honestly, I don't blame them. With Lin Mixu calling the shots, I picked up 4 sets of premium luxury bedding, plus a ton of daily necessities, and just like that, another 100,000 plus gone. Seeing me swipe the card without even blinking, Lin Mixu's eyes turned into hearts and she was basically melting. The guy she thought she knew was suddenly looking like a total Chad, and the mysterious aura was making her want to explore everything. With the thousands of dollars worth of bedding packed into massive bags, the shop naturally offered home delivery. I dropped my address, swiped the card, and dragged Lin Mixu down to the second floor. The luxury wing, we marched straight into a high-end designer boutique. Seeing Lin Mixu staring at the bags and clothes with pure longing, I grabbed a random designer purse off the shelf. Sir, here's our latest seasonal model. It perfectly matches your companion's elegant vibe. Price is 28,000. I swiped the card without a second thought, took the bag from the clerk and tossed it to Lin Mixu like it was nothing. You've been shopping with me all day, you deserve a little treat, I said. I patted her hand, grinning, don't mention it. Lin Mixu was absolutely beaming, clutching the bag and obsessing over how perfect it looked. Right then, a sharp, annoying voice cut through the air. Mixu, why on earth are you hanging out with him? Lin Mixu looked up to see Chuna standing at the entrance, totally stunned to run into her here. And of course, she had some random dude hanging off her arm. Lin Mixu recognized him instantly. It was Chuna's supposed first love. Ma Zhendong and I locked eyes, and the room temperature dropped to absolute zero. Lin Mixuo, my ex-wife Chuna, and Ma Zhendong, the 4 of us just stood there in an awkward 10-second stare-down. Chuna couldn't hold it in anymore and finally snapped. Shu Fahai, what is going on here? Why are you with Mixu? Chuna's voice was dripping with entitlement, and her face looked like she'd just swallowed a lemon. That's when she clocked the designer bag in Lin Mixuo's hand. It was definitely this season's hottest, newest drop. Even though they're supposed to be besties, Chuna has been secretly competing with her since day one. That luxury bag easily cost at least 20 or 30 grand. Suddenly, the $6,000 bag that Mahjong just bought her feels like cheap trash. What makes it worse is that she just divorced me, and seeing her best friend flex expensive gear has her internal rageometer hitting the red zone. Hearing Chuna's pathetic interrogation, I gave her and her little lapdog a cold glare and deadpanned. Chuna, did you lose your memory or something? We're already divorced, so what I do and who I'm with is none of your business. After dropping that, my eyes drifted over to Ma Zhendong. I hit him with the sarcasm, oh right, congrats to you both. You can finally be a public couple now. No need to cook up fake business trips and overtime excuses to play me for a fool anymore. Hearing me call her out, her face flickered with a mix of embarrassment and pure unadulterated salt. Embarrassed because I exposed her messy secret, and furious that a pushover like me finally grew a spine and talked back. Fuhai, stop spouting nonsense. What fake excuses? What lies? Zhendong and I were just friends. I always knew you were narrow-minded. You act all nice and quiet, but you're actually mentally unstable. Finally showing your true colors, huh? I've finally seen your real self. I just watched silently as Chuna threw her little tantrum, still trying her best to talk down to me. I've been living this exact scene for 16 years. It's all too familiar. 16 years and this woman hasn't changed a bit. In her eyes, it's always my fault. I'm never good enough for her, and she jumps at every chance to belittle me and treat me like human garbage. If my mental game wasn't absolute iron, I probably would have been gaslit into a total mental breakdown by now. I waited for her to finish her monologue and asked, "Are you two done with your little performance? Don't bother explaining yourself to me, I genuinely couldn't care less what you think. I've got better things to do, so I'm out. You two keep playing house." I dropped the mic and walked straight out the door. Watching my cold zero fucks given attitude, Chuna's rage levels officially reached critical mass. Like, we're already divorced. She literally got exactly what she wanted, so what's her deal? I handed over half the assets, but seeing me act so indifferent is clearly driving her insane. In her eyes, I'm just a useless bottom-feeding loser. So by what right does a broke beta like me get to ignore her? She really thought I'd be crawling back, begging for her attention like a total simp. She expected me to see her with Majendong, get jealous, and have a total mental breakdown. But instead, nothing. I'm completely unbothered. In fact, I'm out here casually walking with someone else, and it's her own best friend, no less. The moment I brushed past her, Chuna lost it and grabbed my arm with a death grip. You aren't going anywhere until you explain yourself. Chuna, are you actually insane right now? We are divorced, we have zero ties left, do I need to spell it out for you? I frowned, looking at her hand clutching my sleeve like a complete psycho. Chuna didn't even care about my question. She just realized something that made her ego shatter. My jacket is a premium designer piece, the same one man is wearing, retailing at a cool 28,000 yuan. Everything else I'm wearing also screams expensive, definitely not the cheap rags I used to own. Since Chuna's a total brand whore, she recognized the label instantly, and her blood started boiling. Since when does this guy buy such expensive gear? She wouldn't even spend that kind of money on herself normally. The most expensive thing in her closet was a 10,000 yuan item she bought on a massive sale. Chuna was so blinded by her own rage that she completely forgot how she used to treat me. She used to buy me literal trash from street stalls, rarely spending more than 100 yuan on me. Very good, Fuhai, you're playing games now, aren't you? How dare you hide money to buy luxury items like this? Where did you even get this cash? Did you have a secret stash the whole time? How much money have you been hiding from me? Chuna's eyes were bulging as she lost control, screeching like a banshee in public. She'd only let herself wear high-end brands and thousands of yuan skincare sets. And here I am, actually looking like a rich heir while she's losing her mind. I'll say it one more time, we are divorced. What I wear or who I'm with is none of your business. Don't you think you're overstepping your boundaries? I turned my head to look at the Lin Mixu was looking awkward, so I just smirked, gave her a little hand gesture, and called her over. Lin Mixu was absolutely stressed out, being dragged along by her bestie to confront her ex-husband, especially after just accepting gifts from him. She was low-key struggling, trying to figure out how to explain herself, but then she remembered how much of a whale I am. Thinking about that 30 million yuan luxury apartment, she had a quick internal crisis, but ultimately she played along and obediently walked over to my side. Look, I don't owe anyone an explanation, but since she's dying to know, I might as well drop the truth. I locked eyes with Lin Mixu and saw her blush, but she stood firmly behind me. Okay, I see how it is, she's choosing her side. Mixu is a real estate agent. I dropped a bag today and bought a unit at Jinjiang Garden. It's a project under her firm, so she was just helping me pick out the decor. Is that really a problem? Wait, what? You bought a house, Shufuhai? You're claiming you bought a place at Jinjiang Garden? Hearing that, Zuna's face went through the 5 stages of shock and disbelief. Her voice hit a screeching pitch. Jinjiang Garden is literally the most expensive, top-tier real estate brand in this entire city. That's premium, billionaire row villa territory right there. Ma Zhendong finally managed to butt in. Shufuhai, you're telling us you bought a place at Jinjiang Garden? Stop, you're literally comedy gold right now. He looked at me with pure unadulterated disrespect. Do you even have the slightest clue what the price per square meter is there, you absolute clown? Even though he knew this guy was Zuna's ex-husband, Ma Zhendong didn't care enough to show even a shred of basic respect. He'd been looking down on this dude ever since he first met him back in the day. He was known for being a total pushover and a coward who couldn't even speak up in front of his own wife. Just some bottom feeder working at a dead-end agency with a pathetic monthly salary of 10,000 yuan. Working for over a decade and never got a single promotion? What kind of man even lives like that? In his eyes, just a useless NPC. Why would he ever need to be intimidated? Because of that deeply ingrained loser reputation I had. He couldn't stop himself from throwing shade, but after hearing his nonsense, I slowly turned my head and gave him a dead-eyed cold stare. Catching that vibe for some reason, Ma Zhendong suddenly felt a shiver run down his spine. He realized that the version of me standing in front of him today was not the same beta male he used to know. In my memories, this clown didn't even say a word, yet he was trying to project some kind of mid-tier pressure. I clocked Ma Zhendong for a second, then looked away. No point starting a scene with this NPC right here. It's not that I'm scared, it's just not worth the effort. Totally unnecessary to waste time on a low-budget hotel owner. Even if you liquidated his entire net worth, this fraud is barely sitting on 30 million yuan. If this were the old me, I'd have to look up to Ma Zhendong like he was some kind of big shot. But now, forget the 70 million in my bank account. Having the system as my cheat code is the real flex. Of course, avoiding a scene now doesn't mean I'm letting this slide. I might be a chill guy, but I'm still a man with standards. And I remember every single piece of trash the Chu family pulled and the humiliation they put my family through. I'll make sure they pay the interest on that debt later. But for now, let's start collecting a little bit of that interest immediately. I turned to Lin Mixu and gave her the nod. Mixu, tell them the truth. Lin Mixu had been waiting for my signal this entire time. She was a little nervous at first, but hearing that, she instantly caught my vibe. Oh sorry, I didn't mean to twist the knife, but you guys really just have zero vision. You had a massive gold mine right in front of you and let it go. Who else is there to blame? With that thought, she put on her professional-grade mask and smirked at Ma Zhendong. Mr. Fu Hai just finished his transaction. He just dropped 30 million yuan in cold, hard cash for the top-tier luxury unit in Building 6, a massive 680 square meter penthouse at Jinjiang Garden. He's our company's most VIP client. The room went dead silent. Chu Na and Ma Zhendong stood there frozen, trying to process this absolute nuke of information. Chu Na especially looked like she'd been hit by a truck when she heard 30 million and 680 square meters in the same sentence. Her fingers started trembling uncontrollably. She felt the world spinning. Her first instinct was that this was literally impossible. Deep down, Chu Na knew exactly what kind of loser Fu Hai was. She'd been draining his wallet for years. She knew for a fact he didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. Let alone 30 million, the guy couldn't even cough up 3,000. But Mixu's face didn't look like she was capping. And this kind of thing is way too easy to verify. Chu Na stared daggers into my eyes, the world around her fading out, and her face went pale as if all the blood had just been drained from her body. Her knuckles were white, trembling with pure unadulterated saltiness. She darkened her expression and barked, "Fu Hai, where the hell did you get 30 million? Tell me!" Her voice was sharper than a kitchen knife, dripping with shock, rage, and pure disbelief. Hearing that grating, entitled interrogation from my toxic ex, combined with that same arrogant, "I'm better than you" attitude from the last 16 years, I just stood there and let out a deep, bitter sigh. 16 years, man. I've been living under her suffocating thumb for way too long. The vibe in the room was so toxic, I knew every single beat of this script by heart. I understood way better than she did just why that 30 million triggered her so hard. The moment she gritted her teeth and spat out that massive figure, I could practically smell the panic and the massive ego trip she was having. Thank God we're basically strangers now and have zero strings attached. That suffocating, soul-crushing pressure is officially a relic of the past. I don't have to walk on eggshells for this queen of drama anymore, and I don't need to bend over backward just to keep up the appearance of a perfect marriage that was already trash. I earned the cash myself, so what's the problem? I dropped the truth like it was nothing, my gaze icy as I gave both of them a slow, disinterested scan. She and that simp Ma Zhendong think that just because I stayed quiet, I'm oblivious. But that doesn't mean I don't know exactly what they've been up to. Check your own damn conscience. Based on everything you've pulled, how do you even have the audacity to look me in the eye and ask that? With that, I didn't even bother looking at her triggered face. I swiped her hand off me and walked away without even a backward glance. She was absolutely shook, never imagining the guy who'd been a total pushover for 16 years would talk back like that. Fu Hai, you better listen to me right now. If you don't explain this, I'm not letting you off the hook. I heard her shrieking behind me, but I just waved her off without looking back. My whole mindset had shifted to a different level. A new life is waiting for me, and I'm definitely not letting a toxic ex control it anymore. After I dipped, the other two tried to play it cool, but that only made her even more triggered. He kept rambling, getting more worked up, completely forgetting to keep his ego in check. Every single thing I'd done wrong in her eyes was getting replayed. And one by one, they were just digging. Lin Mixu stood there frozen, shaking her head in total disbelief. She's known Chu Na for years and knows her explosive temper, but honestly, dropping a full cash payment for that house? That definitely triggered a mental breakdown. Otherwise, she wouldn't be out here making a complete fool of herself in public. Everyone knows her bestie is obsessed with her reputation. She's the definition of a total face-saving snob. Standing right next to them, Ma Zhendong watched the scene with cold, icy eyes. He stared at the display, his face contorted in visible disgust and pure, unfiltered impatience. Back in the day, he used to mess around with this woman. Truth is, he was only into Chu Na for the eye candy. Plus, the whole married woman dynamic gave him that extra kick of forbidden spice he was craving. But he never ever expected Chu Na to actually pull the trigger and file for divorce. And even worse, she immediately came running to him all excited right after. Talking about marriage on top of the scene she just caused at the mall, yeah, whatever microscopic sliver of favorability she had left in his eyes basically just evaporated into thin air. Seeing Chu Na screaming like a total maniac in front of everyone, he started feeling some weird, unexpected emotions. He suddenly felt a deep sense of sympathy for the guy who just walked away. Like, how on earth did that bro manage to tolerate this fire-breathing, temperamental woman for 16 whole years? Through all those long, agonizing days and nights. They couldn't just stand there and let Chu Na keep throwing a tantrum in the middle of a crowded shopping mall. It was honestly humiliating for everyone involved. The crowd was growing by the second, whispers were flying, and even the security guards started rushing over to see what the drama was about. The two of them were panicking, trying to coddle and bribe her just to drag her away. They managed to get her under control. After dealing with Chuna's emotional roller coaster, Lin Mixu grabbed a taxi and headed back to her place. Just a beat-up old rental apartment she's been stuck in forever. Late at night, lying on her tiny cramped single bed, she couldn't catch a wink of sleep. The events of this afternoon kept playing on a loop in her head like a movie. She tilted her head to look at that limited edition luxury bag sitting perfectly on the shelf. The golden black glow radiated such high-class energy. It looked so out of place in this dump of an apartment, this tiny 50 square meter mess of a room. It's so weird. My face in that massive 680 square meter mansion kept popping up in her thoughts. She couldn't stop obsessing over that moment this afternoon when I looked at her with those deep, unreadable eyes. A wild, unhinged thought just manifested in her brain, and she couldn't even control it. The second that thought crossed her mind, Tuyet literally freaked herself out. Like, what is actually wrong with me? That's Nana's ex-husband, for crying out loud. But man, that mansion is straight up gorgeous though. No way, I absolutely cannot betray Nana like this. Lammat Tuyet, look at yourself. You've been living in this city for over a decade and you don't even own a single shack. Isn't that the definition of a total failure? But then again, they're already divorced anyway, so what are you even stressing about? The bag is literally sitting right there. If you miss this chance, just prepare to spend the rest of your life regretting it. Two versions of her were fighting to the death in her head. After a long-ass internal debate, Lammat Tuyet finally let out a massive sigh. Her eyes locked onto that designer bag sitting on the shelf again. It was like the bag had some dark magic, so she grabbed her phone, found my number, and hit call. When it connected, I kept it cool and laughed, acting like this whole situation didn't even faze me. You've always been so understanding, Shu. Nana is honestly just way too impulsive. She only cares about herself and never considers how anyone else feels. Seeing how she treated you back then, it actually breaks my heart. It's fine, Shu. If Nana ever treats you like that again, I'll definitely have your back and put in a good word for you. After dropping that bomb, Lammat Tuyet felt her cheeks flush. She was totally talking smack behind her bestie's back. Even though she'd done it plenty of times before, doing it to her best friend's ex-husband was a first, especially when she was using thirsty, suggestive language like "it breaks my heart." Her fingers gripped her shirt, eyes cast downward, feeling like a total mess of anxiety and guilt. She had no clue what Shu might be thinking on the other end. Meanwhile, I was chilling on the sofa of my new crib. My fingers lazily tapped against the side of my phone. Hearing what Lammat Tuyet was dishing out, I was caught off guard. Totally didn't expect her to play it like this. But then I remembered how she was acting earlier today, and honestly, it wasn't even that surprising. Like they say, birds of a feather flock together. If Lammat Tuyet is besties with my trashy ex-wife Chuna, then they're clearly cut from the same cloth. They definitely share the same toxic energy. Both of them are total gold diggers, constantly chasing that material lifestyle. It's just that the toxic ex-Chuna is more obvious about it, while Lin Mixu is better at hiding her true colors behind a fake personality. To put it bluntly, Lin Mixu is the definition of a manipulative, scheming green tea bitch. Just because I was a nice guy back then doesn't mean I'm blind to people's true colors or how these girls play their games. Thanks for the concern. Lin Mixu, right? She's always been like that. Talking to her is basically talking to a brick wall. Besides, I'm not even worried about her causing any drama. I've already braced myself for whatever BS she tries to pull. Lin Mixu replied with a soft, sweet voice. Those bed sheets and pillows you bought this afternoon. Did the store finally deliver them to your place? Her tone was dripping with fake concern. Just fishing for an opening to get close. Oh, they just arrived a moment ago. Currently unboxing everything. I looked at the pile of cardboard boxes cluttering the living room and chuckled. The whole living room was a mess. There wasn't even an inch of space left to walk. Hearing that, Lin Mixu immediately offered with way too much enthusiasm. Is that so? Let me come over and help you unpack and organize. You could practically hear the nervous anticipation in her voice. She was clearly desperate to slide into my DMs. Honestly, the second she suggested the bed set, she was already planning this move. Wouldn't that be a bit inconvenient for you? I don't want to be a bother. I gave her a smooth, tactical rejection. You've already been running around all afternoon because of me. I haven't even properly thanked you for your hard work yet. Oh, stop being so formal with me, brother Shu. You helped me hit my huge sales target by buying that house today, and you even gifted me a luxury handbag. If anyone should be thanking anyone, it's definitely me thanking you. She didn't even wait for me to agree. She was already... As if you men know anything about this stuff. Alright, fine. Just get over here then. Once you're done cleaning, I'll treat you to a massive feast. On the other end of the line, I smirked and agreed with Lin Mixu. Lin Mixu was absolutely thrilled and hung up the phone in a rush, terrified that I might change my mind. She immediately hailed a taxi, and an hour later the car pulled up to the gates of the Jinjiang Garden Estate. Meanwhile, back at the house where Chuna and I used to live, a total family war was breaking out. As soon as Fu Yifeng heard that Fu Hai bought a $30 million mansion at Jinjiang Garden, she dropped her rolling pin like it was hot. She didn't even care about the dumplings anymore and sprinted out of the kitchen. Chu Xiaodong, who was busy gaming, jumped up and asked, Sis, did you see him drop 30 million with your own eyes? Chuna said she didn't see it, but Mixu told her that personally. Like, how could that even be a lie? Chuna gritted her teeth, seething with resentment. Right now, her brain was obsessed with that number, 30 million. A high-end luxury estate. Fu Yufeng pressed her daughter for more details. Lin Mixu told you all this? So how exactly does she know about it? Do I even need to explain that? She's the literal real estate agent. Fu Hai wants to buy a place. Obviously, the first person he'd go to is her. Chuna spat those words out with pure venom. That loser Fu Hai, I must have been blind. How did he hide that kind of wealth for so many years? If he had that much cash and didn't tell us, he never considered us family. Hearing her daughter's rant, Yufeng slapped the table hard and sneered. Chu Xiaodong even quit his game, yelling that his brother-in-law was way too calculated. I never thought he was this sneaky. If he can drop 30 million on a house, he's definitely sitting on way more than just that. As his eyes darted around greedily, he added, Sis, why are you still calling him brother-in-law? Does a snake like that deserve the title? Yufeng stood up, fuming. We lived with that low life for 16 years, and all this time he was treating us like we were thieves. Now that he's divorced your sister, he's rushing to buy a mansion just to live it up? How could he be so cold-blooded and ruthless? Yufeng started wailing like the world was ending right there in the living room. What are you even crying about? Can't you let a guy drink in peace? Shu Linsheng, who was sipping booze and snacking on peanuts, was getting fed up. He slammed his chopsticks down and roared, You old bat, be quiet. My daughter has been wronged, and you're just making noise. The old man is still chilling there, while Mu Feng stares at him, scolding him for doing nothing but drinking his life away. Just retired and doing absolutely nothing, but sitting at home chugging booze. I told you when already, you've got long hair but zero brain cells to match. Shu Fuhai was sneakily hiding cash from Nana, planning to dump her and blow the money on his own. The law doesn't let you slide with that. It's straight up hiding marital assets. We can sue his ass, get it? Shu Linsheng finishes his lecture, downs a massive gulp of liquor and slams the glass on the table with a loud thwack, silencing the whole family instantly. Hearing the old man's words, Chu Xiaodong sits on the sofa, eyes wide, nodding like a brainless sidekick. Facts, Dad. You're spitting straight heat. I remember seeing a post about this online back in the day. In the end, the dude had no choice but to cough up the cash. I think they split like a couple $1 million. Shu Xiaodong says, eyes glowing like he's already spending those imaginary millions. That's right, Xiao Na. Your dad is 100% right. We were dragging him to court, no mercy. We're gonna make him spit out every single cent he hid. Hearing the old man, Feng Yufeng immediately perks up, chirping in, exactly. Can't let that loser enjoy a single dime. I've been stuck with him for years without living the high life, and now he wants to go off and live his best life solo? Na says with a sour face, already calculating her next toxic move. Shu Linsheng furrows his brows, thinking for a second before slowly addressing his daughter. Hold up, don't go rushing to find Shu Fuhai just yet. I've got an old colleague. He pivoted into law a while back and is currently a big shot attorney at a local firm. I'll hit him up tomorrow, then you can go pay him a visit. We need to scheme and figure out how to squeeze this guy dry. Shuna nods, her voice laced with venom. Deal. Dad, I'm heading to see that lawyer tomorrow. Time to get the tea on how to ruin him. Shu Fuhai thinks he can just go off and live a luxury life alone? Dream on, I am so not finished with him yet. Feng Yufeng suddenly remembers something and pipes up. Wait, didn't you say you saw Shu Fuhai and Lin Mixu at the high-end mall earlier? Isn't he supposed to be buying a house with her? Why are they out shopping at a luxury mall? Chuna rolls her eyes, losing her patience. Didn't I literally just tell you? He bought the place, now he's gotta buy the furniture and stuff. Mixu's company told her to tag along and help pick out the interior vibes. Stop asking. Feng Yufeng is still skeptical, not buying it for a second. Huayi chimes in, but seriously, why go to a high-end designer boutique to buy basic furniture? That store doesn't even sell mattresses. Exactly. Mom, now that you mention it, that is kinda sus. When Shu Fuhai walked out, he was decked out in luxury brands, legit high-end designer gear. And look at Lin Mixu, she was carrying a designer handbag. I checked the price for that bag at the boutique. It's over 20,000 yuan. Shu Na's eyes turned green with envy. She's been eyeing that bag forever but couldn't bring herself to drop the cash. You don't think they're actually seeing each other, do you? Feng Yufeng furrowed her brows, lowering her voice as she speculated. Hearing her mom, Chu Na immediately spiraled and snapped, Mom, what are you even rambling about? Lin Mixu is my bestie, how could she do something like that? Well, don't be so sure, you're already divorced now. Shu Fuhai suddenly got rich out of nowhere. You think Lin Mixu can keep her hands off him? Don't let that innocent act of hers fool you. Listen to your mother, that girl is a total snake. Your little brain isn't exactly built to outplay her. Seeing her daughter's face darken, Feng Yufeng knew she hit a nerve and kept pushing. Look at the way she dresses, always in those skin-tight outfits, no man on earth can resist that. Hearing this, Chuna got anxious and triggered. Her knuckles turned white as she instinctively looked down at her own tight-fitting clothes. Chuna had the figure for it, but whenever she showed the slightest bit of jealousy, Lin Mixu would whisper in her ear and complain, acting all miserable, saying she was actually jealous of Chuna's slim physique. She'd say your size is perfect, it's gorgeous and delicate, making it so easy to style outfits. Unlike me, everything I do is just a hassle, and finding clothes that fit is a nightmare. Every time Lin Mixu played that card, Chuna felt validated, convincing herself she wasn't actually a loser. As for Shu Fuhai's rejection, she told herself he just had zero taste. But after hearing her mom, a seed of doubt sprouted in Chuna's mind. She'd been too focused on beefing with Shu Fuhai. Thinking back to when she saw them earlier, something was definitely off. Why were they even at a mattress store? Is that some kind of designer luxury store bag? Did Lin Mixu buy that purse herself? Or did Shu Fuhai gift it to her? Shu Fuhai suddenly got so rich, so it's not impossible that he's spoiling her with luxury gifts. My chest feels tight, and just thinking about that possibility, Chu Nanjun feels like her heart is literally shattering into pieces. She desperately wants to sprint over there right now and demand the truth, but she knows she has to play it cool for now. First off, they're divorced, and second, the main priority right now is securing the bag. I mean the money in Shu Fuhai's hands. As for whether they've got something going on, she can always investigate after she cashes out. She used to think Shu Fuhai was just a spineless beta male with no guts, but Lin Mixue's mom's words are making her spiral. She's convinced that Lin Mixue is already gunning for Shu Fuhai. Chu Nanjun thinks to herself, a wave of pure toxic jealousy washing over her as her mind starts projecting some wild scenarios. Little does she know, the scene she's dreading is actually going down right now inside the most expensive penthouse in Building 6. Inside the massive 680 square meter super luxury apartment, Lin Mixue is bent over, working hard to help me set up the bedding. Even though the store delivery guys offered to do the installation, Lin Mixue made up an excuse saying they were sloppy, and she chased them all out of the apartment. She only let them clear out the packaging in the living room before she dove into the work herself, burying her head in the task. After a while, she struggled to get the duvet cover on multiple times, eventually calling out to me in frustration. "Old Shu, come over here and give me a hand. This duvet cover for the master bedroom is huge, I can't get it on by myself." Lin Mixue held up the blanket and the cover, bending over and trying a few times, but she just couldn't get it right, so she had to call for the Giga host to help. I walked over with a smirk. "Who told you to try and be a hero? This isn't really a one-person job, you know. Come here, I'm actually a pro at this. I used to do this all the time back at home, and while Lin Mixue was busy sweating over it earlier, I tried to step in a few times. But she kept pushing me away with a laugh, saying a big man like me shouldn't be wasting time on chores." Lin Mixue is currently wearing a light white off-shoulder t-shirt. The fit is absolute fire, showing off her insane curves perfectly while she's bent over struggling with the blanket. One second she's kneeling on the bed, the next she's leaning forward, giving me a prime view. Every natural movement was absolute eye candy, and Lin Mixue didn't even try to hide her gaze from mine. The way she was bending over had me almost losing my composure right there. I couldn't help but think she was putting on a show just for me. I stuffed the corner of the duvet into the cover, finishing the job with effortless drip. Lin Mixue's eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. "Tell you what, old Sai, you really are the GO8. I raised an eyebrow, gave her a cool side-eye, kept it brief, and finished making the bed with her. Looking at the freshly made bed, I smiled and suggested, "Hey, you must be exhausted from all that work, right? Since it's dinner time, how about we go grab a bite?" Lin Mixue's eyes sparkled at the mention of food, and she rolled right off the bed. "Bet, brother Shu, you promised me a feast, so don't even try to pull a fast one with some cheap street food." Seeing her all hyped up, I just smirked. We swapped into our gear in no time and headed downstairs together. "What are you talking about? Do I look like to be stingy with you?" I rolled out my motorcycle and cranked the ignition. Lin Mixue, a total natural, hopped on the back and gripped the seat. As she sat behind me, she started rubbing the seat and acting all extra. "Brother Shu, this seat is insanely comfy. $100 million bike really hits different. This feels even better than a luxury car. It's that soft? Didn't you already ride it once today?" I tossed her a helmet, knowing she'd never get enough of the ride. She giggled and strapped it on. I patted my waist and said, "Just call me whenever you want to ride. Brother Shu, you should take me out for a breeze every single day." Mixu got the hint and wrapped her arms tight around my waist. We hit the throttle and arrived at the walking street in 2 minutes flat. Cruising through the city center, I pulled up to the Peninsula restaurant. "Greetings, sir. Welcome to the Peninsula. Do you happen to have a reservation?" As we walked in, the waiter glided over with that practiced high-end hospitality. "Wait, do I actually need a reservation to eat here?" I looked up at the waiter and asked. "Sir, usually you won't need a reservation. However, some of our VIP suites do require an advance booking." The waiter bowed low and replied with perfect manners. "So, do you have any rooms available right now?" I tapped the counter lightly and followed up. The Ma Lan suite on the first floor and the Zhongjing suite on the second are both still vacant. They're both top-tier VIP suites. The Ma Lan suite has a minimum spend of $5,800. The Zhongjing suite has a minimum $888. Seeing me go quiet after the explanation, the waiter rushed to add, "We still have spots in the main dining area as well. If you two are just having a casual meal, the vibe there is pretty solid." Nah, let's just go to the second floor. I was just zoning out for a second. It wasn't about the price, I was just low-key shook by how insanely luxurious this place looks. A minimum spend of 8,088 with my current bank account is basically pocket change, not enough to make me sweat. Brother Shu, let's just eat in the public area, it's fine. Hearing the 8,088 price tag, Lin Mixu quickly tried to talk me out of it. How could I do that? Haven't you heard the saying? A woman shouldn't be the one saying that. Why would you say that? I smiled and asked, Brother Zhu, you're so annoying. I know you didn't mean it like that. Lin Mixu pouted, acting all cute. Anyway, that's settled. Lead the way upstairs. I said, welcome, my lord. The server bows low, completely unfazed by the two of them flirting. Our boy acted like he didn't even notice the atmosphere. Whoa, the view from here is absolute fire. It honestly feels like a different dimension. I scanned the VIP suite with a critical eye. A look of pure satisfaction flashed across my face. The suite had this open concept layout that really opened up the space. Inside was a sleek high-end dining area. Everything from the chairs to the decor screamed expensive cozy. I pushed the balcony door open to reveal a lush private garden oasis tucked away from the world. Smack in the middle sat a chic bistro table perfect for a little one-on-one time. The creamy white finish blended perfectly with the greenery. It felt like stumbling into a secret tranquil paradise. Right across the balcony, the Jin River glittered with city lights, the kind of vibe that makes you want to get lost in the moment. I gave a solid nod of approval and parked myself on the balcony chair. Sir, whenever you're ready to order. These are our absolute signature dishes, highly recommended for someone of your status. Also, we have to highlight our M12 Wagyu flown in just for you. The server said with a bow, clearly trying to rack up those tip points. Give me the black truffle dish and the king crab, one portion of each. I pointed at the menu, scanning through 5 or 6 high-tier delicacies. Yeah, that should cover the basics. For dessert and drinks, just pair whatever fits the mood. And crack open a bottle of that red wine too. I tossed the menu back to the server like it was pocket change. Understood. Right away, sir. Please enjoy the view for a moment while we get everything ready. The server snatched the menu up with both hands. Their expression turned even more submissive than before. The main courses already topped 10,000, plus a $6,000 bottle of wine. Dropping 20 grand on a single dinner is how you flex in this circle. Lu Chen, isn't that like way too much food? Is this going to be a waste? Lin Mi asked, her eyes sparkling with that I'm so impressed energy. It's all good as long as it slaps, that's all that matters. I waved my hand, letting our generous queen Lin Mixu know the drinks were on me. The dishes started hitting the table one by one. Lin Mixu couldn't stop gushing over how fire everything looked. Honestly, even I was down to feast, and the quality was top tier. The shrimp was so tender it was practically melting in my mouth. And this Wagyu? Absolute perfection. I'm talking lose your tongue levels of delicious. I sat back soaking in the cozy, high-end vibes of the restaurant. Watching Lin Mixu across from me ditching her refined image just to stuff her face was honestly hilarious. I didn't hold back either, just digging in like a true king. With a relaxed smile, I fully vibed out while enjoying this spread of elite cuisine. We spent the whole time eating and throwing banter back and forth. An hour passed in a flash, and once we were stuffed, I signaled the server for the bill. That little dinner session set me back over 23,000 RMB. Watching me drop that black card without even blinking, Lin Mixu's heart started doing backflips. She was looking at me like I was the ultimate main character. She was probably wondering, has Shu Fuhai been possessed or something? Like, did some billionaire's soul just take over his body? That's exactly what was running through Lin Mixu's mind. On the way back, the night air was hitting different, and the wind was howling past us. Lin Mixu was clinging onto the back of my bike, arms wrapped tight around my waist, pressed right up against me. I asked her, since it's getting late, what's the move? Why don't you crash at my place for the night? It'll be way easier for you to get to work tomorrow. I threw the line out there while we were cruising down the street. Brother Shu, my place is honestly so far away. Traveling alone at night is sketch, and that road is a total nightmare to navigate. If you don't mind, let me crash at your spot for the night? I just want to see what the hype is about. What's it actually like to live in a luxury mansion? Lin Mixu teased, giving me a playful look. Hahaha, say less. Alright then, let's head to my place. Hearing her request, I let out a laugh and gave her the green light. When we pulled up to the luxury apartment, the warm golden lights cast a glow over her, and she looked absolutely stunning. I looked up and saw Lin Mixu standing at the doorway, freezing in her tracks, but those eyes were definitely thirsting for the king-sized bed. Seeing her expression, I couldn't help but chuckle with a knowing grin and said, Mixu, this bed is honestly way too big. I'm just not used to sleeping all by myself. The night passed in total bliss, wrapped up in the softest sheets and pure comfort. The next day, the sun was already high in the sky. I woke up feeling absolutely refreshed and took my sweet time getting up. Seeing Lin Mixu trying to sneak closer again, I reached out and grabbed her shoulders, saying with a straight face, don't do that, it's way too intense. If people get the wrong idea, it's going to be bad for our vibe. Lin Mixu was stunned, but after one look at my eyes, it clicked. I get it, hubby, I'll be more careful next time. She nodded with a natural smile. Let's go, time to buy you a car. I need to pick one up too. Always rolling around on a motorbike isn't exactly a flex. It's fine for a casual joyride, but riding a bike to the office is just not the move. You're seriously still planning on working? Mixu mumbled as she brushed her teeth in the bathroom. Of course, why not? I've been grinding this job for years, plus I've actually got some homies at the office. Thinking about the squad at work, I couldn't help but crack a smile. So, hubby, what kind of whip are you looking at? Lin Mixu asked, curious about that luxury Ziffin model. I didn't even have to think about it before answering. I've been manifesting this ride since I was a broke bottom feeder. Now that I'm stacking paper, it's time to make that dream a reality. What about you? Mixu asked. A mid-sized Zifan should be perfect for you, right? Why that one? Lin Mixu asked, and I replied, because it's lousy, you are such a comedian. Lin Mixu laughed out loud, and the two of them chatted while getting dressed before heading out the door. Since we were going car shopping, we skipped the bike and just hailed a ride straight to the Dongjiao car market. We went straight to the 4S dealership and dropped 400K on a ride for Mixu. I let the dealership handle all the insurance and license plate drama. The two of us rolled up to another dealership right after. This round took a little more time to settle. I snagged the only one available on the floor. A top-tier luxury X-Series that had the store manager personally coming out to handle the 4 million package deal, leaving Mixu shook at my absolute financial dominance. Sitting in the back seat, which felt more like a first-class lounge, I let out a satisfied sigh. This is what you call living the life. Mix, sitting in the passenger seat, sighed in pure contentment and said, yeah, money really is the best. I suddenly looked over and asked, can you drive? Of course I can. It's not like you've never sat in my car before. I've been driving for over 10 years now. I'm basically a veteran behind the wheel. My driving skills are rock solid, no cap. Lin Mixu held her head high, looking super proud of herself. Lin Mixu, the seasoned driver. I'm actually looking for a personal chauffeur. Want to take the job? I said it half jokingly and she replied down. Do I get a salary? Mixu's eyes lit up, she leaned in close and asked with a grin. Definitely, why wouldn't you? 200K a year, you in? I looked right at her. I raised an eyebrow and told her, you'd better be ready. Laos, you aren't messing with me, are you? Lin Mixu looked completely shocked. Between the cash I dropped yesterday and this car today, the total amount was already getting pretty insane. Hearing her stunned reaction, I didn't say much, just pulled out my phone and let the fat bank transfer do all the talking. Lin Mixu, the CEO's personal driver, is officially on the clock. Where to, boss? She asked with eyes full of anticipation. Lin Mixu turns around, looking as serious as a student during finals week. Yintai department store, I say, leaning back into the luxury seat like the king I am. She chirps back, yes, boss. If you don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and quit my job right now. Lin Mixu beams with a massive smile, clearly over her old gig. After I give her the green light, she pulls out her phone to roast her manager. Yo, manager, listen up, I'm done. I quit, effective immediately. Keep my paycheck for the month, I don't even want it. Peace out, don't call me again. She hangs up like a total boss, looking like a huge weight just lifted off her shoulders. After that absolute power move, she's vibing, hits the start button, and the engine purrs to life. Her fingers dance gracefully on the wheel as she drifts out of the parking lot and heads straight for Yintai. This one, and definitely that one. Wrap them all up for me. Up on the second floor, I'm pointing at outfits like I'm shopping for groceries. Boss, are you being serious right now? Why are you buying me so much stuff? Lin Mixu is standing there, low-key freaking out, caught between shock and pure joy. These dresses are gorgeous, and she's been eyeing them for ages, but they're easily worth 20 or 30,000, no cap. I saw you checking them out earlier, and honestly, you look like a total goddess in them. I drop a grin and she melts, boss, you're way too good to me. She clings to my arm, glowing, and I tell her, it's all about the performance, baby. Seeing you happy makes spending this cash worth it. I pull out my black card and swipe it with the precision of a pro. A few outfits and a pair of designer heels. That'll be 32,000, easy. Looking into her eyes filled with pure adoration and greed, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, this money was definitely well spent. I'm not delusional. I know she's only sticking around because my bank account is massive. But hey, who cares, as long as she keeps me entertained. Every penny spent is an investment in my own pleasure. As for true love, that died 16 years ago, buried under the weight of a stale marriage. Mixu, you've got great taste. Pick out some outfits for Ran too. Don't sweat it, boss. I'll make sure our little girl is the cutest princess in the building. Just let me know what sizes she wears and we'll handle the rest, Lin Mixu said with total confidence. I gave her a nod and casually rattled off my daughter Ziren's exact clothing measurements to Lin Mixu. I've always had to give props to her taste in fashion over the years. Chuna might try to chase the latest trends, but compared to Lin Mixu, her aesthetic and class are tiers below. Lin Mixu knows my financial game is on another level, and since Ziran is the daughter I spoil the most, she didn't even blink at the price tag. She kept in mind that Ziran is just a college student, carefully picking out 2 sets of casual wear and 2 high-end formal outfits, before tossing in a dozen more luxury accessories at checkout. I didn't even flinch, just slapped my card on the counter. Just a casual swipe, no hesitation, absolute main character energy. Lin Mixu stood by the register, her brain completely fried. She seriously couldn't wrap her head around how a guy who looked so plain And honestly, such a pushover like me could flip the script so hard after the divorce. Now I'm out here throwing cash around like it's trash with massive big boss energy. But then again, everyone in this world has their own secret side they don't want to talk about. She's a smart, savvy woman who knows better than to be reckless. She's not going to pry into personal business she shouldn't know. She just knows that with me, there's a mansion to live in, luxury cars to drive, and high-end designer gear to wear. And honestly, that's more than enough. She couldn't care less if the haters call her a gold digger. I mean, she's over 30. How many prime years does she really have left? She's got to grab onto what's left of her youth while she can. She's landed a whale like me, and she's absolutely winning at life right now. As for whether her bestie Chuna gets pissed off, she couldn't care less. In her eyes, that whole sisterhood talk is a joke compared to real villas, cold hard cash, and luxury brands. Sure, she needs to keep the connection with Chuna, but Lin Mixue knows full well that her own charm isn't enough to make me drop this much coin. She understands perfectly that being Chuna's best friend is the only reason I'm even bothering to treat her like a queen. Back when I was a broke beta male, she treated me like trash, but now that I'm a high-rolling secret tycoon, there's no way I'm letting that past slide without some payback. She's only here because she's Chuna's bestie. I kept her around right after the divorce just to flex and get, like, why wouldn't I? Obviously, the goal is to get revenge on Chuna. This guy is out here making sure she regrets being blind as a bat and paying for every single mistake she made against him. She's got to know her place as the side chick because that's the only reason she's even still in my orbit. Lin Mixu didn't doubt him for a second. With my stacks of cash and infinite potential, there's no way I'm only settling for just her. Rich dudes usually go off the rails, but she's seen enough of those thirsty CEOs to know the drill. These young girls nowadays are even thirstier and more aggressive than the old geezers chasing them. They'll say anything and do anything to get that bag. Given my status, if I snap my fingers, they'd swarm me like moths to a flame. Looking at those fresh, youthful faces, Lin Mixu knows deep down her only leverage is being Chuna's former bestie. She's gotta ride that advantage until the wheels fall off. Deep down, she's a total psycho. And even if I treat her like a disposable toy, she's gotta be my favorite one, just so she can easily stack up that luxury lifestyle. The kind of stuff she used to only dream about. Lin Mixu lowered her eyes, gripping her handbag tight as her brain went into overdrive. She figured if she's gonna be a toy, she might as well be a happy one. If it came down to it, she'd willingly be my plaything for the rest of her life. She's gotta grind to prove her worth, so I literally can't live without her. The more I step on her, the more rewards she gets. It's a win-win for her. Lin Mixu walked right up against me, hooking her fingers gently into my arm, and while we were window shopping, she was busy cooking up all these schemes, getting more hyped the more she thought about it, her eyes locked in with pure determination. She was practically writing entire fanfic scenarios in her head. As she spiraled, she started getting weirdly excited, her cheeks turning a soft, flustered pink. We strolled up to a glowing, high-end cosmetic counter. Lin Mixu pointed her finger at the glass display, checking out a fancy set of skincare products, and chirped, "Boss, this collection is the best release of the year. It's perfect for young girls. Buy a set for Ranran, okay?" Every girl needs that high-end glow-up, right? She's definitely gonna go crazy for this. I followed her gaze and peeked at the price tag, a casual 29,000 bucks. I have zero clue why face cream costs more than a used car, but for the waifu, worth it. Without even blinking, I swiped the card and secured the loot. I flashed a smile and told her to pick out another set that fits her vibe. Lin Shu's eyes practically lit up like a Christmas tree. She pointed at a high-end luxury set for mature women and said, "Once we get back from the staff, I'll make sure to show you a good time tonight." She leaned in close, whispering those dangerous words right into my ear. I gave her a firm nod. Just as I was about to drop a line, my phone started blowing up in my pocket. I fished it out, and the caller ID was some official-looking internal number. The ending digits were all 8s, a total flex move. You didn't need a system to tell you this caller was a big deal. I tapped accept and asked, "Who's this?" The guy on the other end introduced himself as Li Changlin, the director. "He's the head of the industrial bank branch." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, Director Li?" Li Changlin chuckled. "The Zhongdao law firm called this morning, trying to subpoena your account info. But we shut that down immediately. You're a VVIP client, and our privacy policy is legendary. We don't snitch." I was low-key stunned, wondering why a law firm was digging into my bank stats, but I kept my cool and thanked him for the heads up. Li Changlin kept talking, wanting to invite me out for a power lunch today. Since the big man asked, I didn't hesitate to say yes. I knew my cash came straight from the system, so I wasn't sweating the legality. The system handles the background checks. Honestly, I was just curious as to why some random law firm was trying to play detective. This bank director is a solid connection, so I told Lin Jue we're cutting the shopping trip short. "Let's drop this loot off at the crib. I've got a high-stakes lunch meeting to hit." Lin Shu nodded like a good girl, already tallying up the haul in her head. She couldn't hide that giddy. I just hit the jackpot look on her face. The Fuya Bamboo Pavilion is the most cracked, high-end restaurant in all of Fuxi. It's located on an island in the middle of a lake, requires an exclusive membership and a minimum spend of 20K per person, pure billionaire behavior. I've lived here for 16 years and only heard rumors about this place, never actually stepped foot inside. So yeah, this is technically my first time. Lin Mixu pulled up in her luxury whip and dropped me off at the private pier leading to the island in the middle of the lake. There was already an attendant waiting there just for us. Once I dropped my status, the guy was super polite and ushered me onto a private speedboat. Seeing that look of longing in Lin Mixu's eyes, I gave her arm a little pat and told her this trip is strictly business, but I'll definitely bring her back for a proper date later. I heard the local crab is top tier, and besides, I need to hit the office to pack up my desk and drop off the stuff I bought this morning. Lin Mixu just smiled and said, "Sure thing. Let's get ready. Tomorrow we're heading to the capital to visit Ranran." I told her, she nodded and replied, "Got it, I'll head home and prep everything. Just hit me up if you need anything else." Lin Mixu headed out, I nodded, hopped on the ferry, and even though the scenery was 10/10, I wasn't really vibing with it. My mind was stuck on who the hell was trying to dig up dirt on me, and I couldn't shake this bad feeling. 10 minutes later, the boat glided smoothly and docked at the island. I stepped off like a boss and followed the attendant who was waiting to escort me. The island was straight out of a movie with lush greenery and fancy pavilions scattered everywhere. It had that aesthetic, classy Zhongnan River vibe. The breeze hit different, finally clearing my head, and I felt my stress fading as I walked down the winding stone path. After a bit, we reached a super exclusive private garden, fronted by these gray-blue walls, with polished roof tiles and a massive heavy red gate. The gate was wide open, revealing glimpses of bamboo and that classic ancient Suzhou-style garden energy. Inside, it was a perfectly laid-out high-end private estate. Standing at the entrance was a middle-aged guy in a crisp white shirt and gold-rimmed glasses, looking all sophisticated. He was a bit on the chunkier side, eyeing me as I approached, just standing there waiting for the big moment. Behind him, 2 bank staff members in uniforms were keeping it professional. As I got closer, the middle-aged guy stepped forward and flashed me a massive suck-up smile. "Greetings, you must be Mr. Seeing Li Changfu reaching out for a handshake, I didn't blink and gripped his hand with zero hesitation. "Mr. Li, it's an honor to finally meet you." My vibe was ice cold, just pure GigaChad energy. This guy in front of me is the big boss of one of the top 4 banks. In my old life as a bottom feeder, our paths would have never crossed, not even in a million years. But now, I'm sitting on a mountain of cash, and the game has changed. They say money is the backbone of a man. With my bank account loaded, I felt like the main character. After some polite small talk at the door, Li Changfu went full simp mode and invited me into the private room. The room was giving off those fancy Zen high society vibes that make you feel like royalty. The 4 of us grabbed our seats like bosses. Once settled, Li Changfu signaled the staff to bring the feast and started buttering me up. Li Changfu was a pro at this. He didn't even try to rush the pitch. He didn't jump straight into the money talk like a desperate amateur. Instead, he kept it casual, chatting about some cool local hotspots to keep the energy light and easy. There were 2 bank employees in uniform, an older woman sitting next to Li Changfu, and a young absolute smoke show of a lady, maybe around 20, sitting right to my right, listening quietly as we vibed, occasionally topping off my water or fixing my utensils like a total pro. I used to knock back a few drinks back in the day, but I never overdid it. 4 ounces was my limit, usually just 2 at home. Hearing that, the young lady stood up to pour drinks for me and Li Changfu while pouring a little water into her own glass. "Hey Xiao Jie, Mr. Shu is a VIP client of our bank. Why are you serving water? Switch to hard liquor." Li Changfu frowned, his mood suddenly souring at the sight of the water. "Director, my alcohol tolerance is actually pretty trash. I get tipsy on hard stuff way too fast. How about I stick to wine?" Hearing her boss, the young lady flashed a nervous professional smile, trying to refuse, but he wasn't having it. "Wine? That's straight up disrespecting our guest. That is not how we do things here. Just pour the liquor. We're off the clock this afternoon anyway. I'll let you off the hook." Li Changfu ordered her with that classic arrogant corporate slave driver attitude. I stepped in with a chill wave. "It's really no big deal. If Miss Xiao can't hold her liquor, don't force her." I leaned back in my chair and shot her a calm golden boy smile. He insisted, "Mr. Shu, don't sweat it. I won't let her overdo it. I know Xiaobai's limits better than anyone. Haha, I know you're a gentleman who loves to pamper the ladies, but trust me, you won't outdrink her." Li Changfu let out a boisterous laugh, and since he had already put it that way, I obviously couldn't say anything more. Besides, I clearly saw that the lady next to me had just swapped her water glass with a high-proof liquor. Back in my old job, I'd always see these pathetic suits forcing their female employees to drink at business dinners. Honestly, it's a total eyesore and makes my skin crawl. But since we're not exactly besties yet, I couldn't just pop off, so I let the gourmet dishes slide onto the table while I kept my cool. Li Changfu raised his glass high, signaling for the show to start. "CEO, let me formally introduce you to Office Chief Nu Li. And the beauty beside you is our employee Bai Xiaojie. Come on everyone, let's toast to CEO Shu and celebrate this legendary meeting," Li Changfu announced with a loud, confident tone. I picked up my glass, gave a charming smile, clinked it against his and downed the whole thing in one go. This tiny high-end shot glass. It barely holds 2 sips of the top-shelf liquor we're drinking, so knocking it back was a total piece of cake. Seeing me finish the whole drink, Lee Changfu downed his own like an absolute champ. Haha, Seo Shu is definitely a man of his word, he said while refilling my glass. Come on, Seo Shu, try the local delicacy here. Everyone talks about the local hairy crab being the goat, but in my opinion, it's got nothing on the ones from our Fuxi region. Beside me, Bai Xiaoji was acting all attentive, grabbing a fat, juicy crab for me, carefully stripping the shell with her little set of tools, and placing that perfect tender meat right onto my plate. CEO Shu, you should try it, Bai Xiaoji whispered in her sweet, soft voice. I turned to smile and nod at her, taking the chance to get a really good look at her up close. She had this delicate, oval-shaped face, with sharp, elegant features that were honestly mesmerizing. She wasn't some flashy, over-the-top goddess, but had that gentle, wifey material vibe, the kind of beauty that just grows on you the longer you stare, especially those gorgeous almond-shaped eyes that always had a hint of a smile, carrying a subtle, seductive charm that hit different. Her frame was petite and fit, with curves in all the right places, definitely built like a top-tier waifu. After 3 rounds of drinks, Director Li Newly and Shizue stepped out for a bit. They knew I had some secret business to discuss, so they read the room and bounced. In the massive private room, it's just me and Li Changfu. He says it's way too sensitive to talk about over the phone. It's a super private family matter, which is why he had to drag me out here. Hearing Li Changfu get straight to the point, I give him a serious nod and lock in. See, you have any clue who ordered a full-blown audit on your account? Li Changfu leans forward in his sofa chair, lowering his voice to drop the tea. I tap my fingers, play dumb with a confused look, and furrow my brows. I have no idea. Why? Is something wrong? Is my account acting up or something? No, CEO Su, your account is perfectly fine. It's as clean as it gets. Li Changfu waves his hands frantically, flashing a super respectful grin. That massive wire transfer from overseas yesterday, totally legit, 100% compliant. Since it cracked the 50 million yuan mark, you've automatically been leveled up to our elite VIP status. I brought Bai Xiaojie along today just to make sure you get that top-tier exclusive service. Watching Li Changfu grovel and explain everything with that super sycophantic attitude, I just casually run my fingers over the cold glass in front of me and sit there like the boss I am. Wang Huan nods and half that anxiety in her heart just evaporates. I let out a sigh of relief. As long as the money isn't sus, I've got zero stress left. This morning, the lead attorney from the Zhongdao tangling firm specifically dropped by to pull your transaction history. And as for the person who ordered it, Li Changfu looks all cautious, pausing for dramatic effect, sneaking a glance at me to make sure I'm still listening. Before dropping the bomb, it was your father-in-law, Li Changfu. He drops his voice to a whisper to deliver the news. Hearing that name, Su's eyes go sharp and imposing, and I blurt out a question, feeling the last bit of my anxiety vanish into thin air, my shoulders finally unclenching, a look of realization hitting my face. Look, with your account tier, you've got top-tier security and ironclad risk control protocols. Aside from you and a few high-level government agencies, absolutely no one has the authority to audit your balance, so we can basically tell anyone else to go pound sand. Li Changfu stared at me, dropping the explanation with a super serious vibe. Privacy? Honestly, that doesn't even matter to me. I tapped my fingers on the desk while saying that, my eyes flashing with a cold boss-level chill. Chu Na, after finding out I dropped 30 million on that property, hasn't come over to stir up drama yet. I thought she'd actually changed, but turns out some mastermind is pulling the strings behind the scenes. So, Director Li, what's the move here? I took a sec to think, then spent a few minutes giving him the highlights of my messy situation with Chu Na. I didn't even bother crying about how trashy she is, just kept it cold, objective, and straight facts. No point in whining like some dramatic beta. I'm not about to turn my life into a pity party. As for that casual 100 million in my account, I didn't even bother explaining it. Since the system guarantees all my funds are clean and legit, there's zero need to over-explain or try too hard, because that just makes you look like a sus fraud. Director Li listened and deadpanned that if my story was legit, Chu Na had zero legal claim to my money, and he offered to hook me up with a shark of a lawyer. When Director Li dropped that offer, I gave him an immediate nod. That was exactly the play I was looking for. Even though I've got beef with the Chu family, I didn't want to start a full-blown war. They're still the family of my kid, so I was originally planning on just parting ways peacefully. But since the divorce settlement was already set in stone, I didn't touch their payout, yet these vultures are still out here trying to finesse my bag. To be fair, the Chu family isn't even broke. Chu Na has a stable 9-to-5. Her dad is a retired mid-tier official living off a solid pension. Her mom is a retired teacher with a pretty decent monthly check too. They're living in a 3-bedroom apartment with no mortgage, debt-free for ages. The whole family brings in a combined 30,000 plus yuan every single month. That might not be rich heir status, but they're definitely not living in poverty. The only problem is Chuna's a massive shopaholic with zero financial IQ. This chick spends thousands on high-end designer makeup without even blinking. She buys whatever she wants on impulse and is always out partying with her squad. Every single hangout costs her a couple $1,000 bucks, and with that reckless spending habit, she's basically broke by the end of every month. Because she burns cash like it's going out of style, Chuna always looks down on me, constantly whining that I don't make enough bank. She's always yapping about how her friends bought new luxury bags, going on overseas vacations, or getting gifted fancy cars by their husbands. Looking at me every day just makes her blood boil. If it's not one thing, she's throwing shade at me for everything. She'd even go full scorched earth and scream at me. Whenever that happened, no matter what I did, talk or stay silent, I was always in the wrong. If I tried to defend myself, she'd go nuclear, and if I stayed quiet, she'd accuse me of giving her the silent treatment. Thinking back on those toxic days, I'm actually relieved I finally dumped Chuna. If I hadn't filed for divorce, I would have been spiraling into major depression or worse. Thank God all that garbage is strictly in the rearview mirror now. As for the Chuna family trying to cling on to me, that was 100% in my calculations. Her whole family is full of gold diggers, selfish and heartless to the core. Seeing me living the high life right after the divorce, it'd be weird if they weren't green with envy. Even if they try every trick in the book to leech off me, I'm done being the nice guy. During the divorce, I gave Chuna everything. I walked out empty-handed and still had to pay for my daughter's college. Meanwhile, she didn't even chip in a single cent. Talk about cold-blooded and ruthless. Now that I'm bawling out, she's trying to crawl back to get a piece of the pie. Does she really think the world works that way? Seeing I wasn't playing games, Li Zhongfu nodded immediately and called the two girls back into the room. As for Bai Xiaojie standing by, Yan Yi ordered her to provide top-tier service. Manager Li commanded Bai Xiaojie, "She's going to be my personal specialist from now on. Break down every single service detail and give him your contact info. You better be on standby 24/7 if he needs anything. Do everything in your power to cater to his every whim." Bai Xiaojie nodded furiously, totally whipped into submission. The meal was super chill, lasted over an hour, and we polished off quite a few bottles of high-proof booze. After getting absolutely stuffed, everyone left Tongfu Yazoo and hopped on the ferry to the pier. Lin Mixu was already waiting, and the second she saw me, she rushed over to pick me up, even jumping out to open the door like a pro. Our girl's always been a glutton for the high life. She couldn't afford it before, but now that the bag is secured, she's living her best main character life. Pulling up to the swanky hotel entrance, she soaked in the red carpet treatment as the staff scrambled to open her door with pure reverence. The nearby crowd was staring with pure jealousy, and you could see her vanity levels hitting maximum capacity. It's a feeling she hasn't tasted once in her entire 20-something years of existence. If she had any lingering doubts or felt awkward about tagging along with me at the start, that's long gone. After 48 hours of living that top-tier billionaire lifestyle, she's officially addicted to the velvet ropes and gold-plated lifestyle, and there's no way she's ever going back to being a normal peasant. Watching Lin Mixu step out of the car, manager Li Changfu, who was waiting at the entrance, had his eyes light up like a Christmas tree. Even though this woman is past 30, that mature, sophisticated vibe is like a ripe peach that's straight up lethal to any man's self-control. Plus, she looks just like a top-tier celebrity, and don't even get me started on those curves. Any average Joe, we've definitely caught a case of the drools, but manager Li is a pro. He checked himself real quick before anyone noticed. "Mr. Xu, the bank has prepared some exclusive gifts for you. Just pop the trunk and my team will handle the rest." Li Changfu flashed a humble suck-up smile. I replied, "Manager Li, you're way too kind. This is honestly too much." I hit him with that classic polite but fake billionaire banter. "Kind? No way, Mr. Xu. This is just the standard treatment for our top-tier VIPs. High-value clients like you deserve nothing but the royal treatment. We'll be delivering these perks to you every single quarter. Whenever you need something, just hit up Xiao Jie with the delivery address and consider it done." Li Changfu kept that grin glued to his face. Since he was laying it on this thick, I decided to drop the fake modesty and just lean into it. I told Lin Mixu to pop the trunk open. Moments later, two bank employees in crisp uniforms showed up, carrying boxes. They started unloading the goods: top-shelf liquor, luxury cigarettes, rare teas, imported flowers, and premium health supplements. Just looking at this loot, you know the market so this is what top-tier VIP treatment feels like. Not bad at all, honestly. Looking at the trunk stuffed with gifts, I couldn't help but let out a little smirk. CEO about that lawyer, I've already put in a word with Bai Xiaojie. The best shark in the industry will be in touch with you. Just discuss the nitty-gritty details directly with him. And if you need anything else from my end, don't even hesitate, just hit me up whenever." Li Zhongfu said, laying on the flattery thick. I gave him a smug nod. "Catch you later." Then I started walking toward my ride. Bai Xiaojie, being a total pro, held the door for me and even shielded my head so I wouldn't bump it. I'll shoot over the VIP service seat so we can stay in touch, yeah? The number is linked to my socials, hit me up on Annie. As I settled into the seat, Bai Xiaojie stood outside the window, grinning like a salesman who just hit his quota. I gave him a nod, rolled up the window and hit the gas. Lin Mixu, being curious, asked me who that guy was. I told her he was just the service rep, Bai Xiaojie. Hearing that, she let out a little chuckle. When I asked why, she said he gives off strict teacher vibes, not bank employee energy. Mixu said with a teasing smile. I was stunned for a second, then it clicked, she was spot on. We kept chatting while she drove, and honestly, I wasn't even worried about her focus. For one, she's a total pro behind the wheel, over a decade of experience, no cap. Plus, this luxury whip is basically a tank. We felt like we were gliding on air. And two, the car's self-driving safety features basically do the heavy lifting for her. Ring-a-ding, my phone started screaming. I pulled it out, saw it was Chuna, and swooped to answer without thinking twice. The second I picked up, Chuna's cold ice queen voice hit me with that familiar I own this room energy. I instinctively frowned, my grip tightening on the phone. Where are you? Let's talk. I replied in a low, dead serious tone. Jinjiang Yuan, just checking out your little mansion, she said, dripping with pure sarcasm. Chuna opens her mouth, and through the cold screen, I can practically hear her struggling to hold back, literally grinding her teeth in frustration. Fine, suit yourself, just hit me up when you're at the gate and I'll tell security to let you in. I dropped that line with zero hesitation and hung up right in her face. On the other end of the line, Chuna couldn't believe I actually had the audacity to hang up on her. Her knuckles turned white from gripping the phone so hard, and her face went from smug to absolutely livid in a heartbeat. Oh, you've got jokes, Shufuhai? We've been divorced for 2 days, and now you're hanging up on me? You've got some nerve, pal. Chuna hissed, her voice dripping with pure unadulterated salt as she glared at the phone. She gripped the steering wheel like it owed her money. Lin Mixu was driving and overheard the entire call after I hung up. She tilted her head slightly, glancing at me with a playful smirk. She's actually desperate enough to track you down for a chat? Your senses are spot on. How'd you know it was her? I looked back at her and flashed a cheeky grin. It's a woman's intuition, babe. Don't forget, I am her best friend after all. Lin Mixu blinked, laughing as the car pulled into the underground garage, the automatic gate lifting just in time for us to roll in. I raised an eyebrow and teased, you really are a wild one. She just got divorced, and here you are already sleeping with her ex-husband. Isn't it more like you're sleeping with me? Lin Mixu's eyes shimmered with a mischievous, alluring glint. Does it really matter who's sleeping with who? I chuckled, feeling like a completely different person since getting the system post-divorce. My entire mindset shifted, making it effortless to flirt with someone like Lin Mixu. If this were the old me, I wouldn't have dared, but now it's just second nature. Alright, whatever you say. Old Shu, when Chuna gets here, should I dip so you two can talk? She asked with a playful tilt of her head. Dip? Why would you need to hide? Hearing her suggestion, I looked at her, genuinely confused. She's coming over already boiling with rage. She's convinced I've been hiding my wealth from her this entire time. She's literally coming here to start a war and demand answers. If I let her see you here, aren't you worried she'll have a total mental breakdown on the spot? Lin Mixu looked at me, giggling as she poked the bear. Zhu, you've got a point. With her personality, that's exactly how she'd play it. So, what do you suggest we do about it? I smirked and tossed the problem right back into her lap. Lin Mixu started cooking up a plan to deal with Zhu Na. I laughed and called her a total genius. She sighed at her own predicament, then steered the car smoothly into the parking spot. We headed upstairs together. She was being super attentive, practically begging to hear the full story. I stepped out of the car, letting Lin Mixu wrap her arm around mine. We looked just like a legit power couple. Lin Mixu and I arrived in front of the elevator together. We rode up and I reached out to push open the heavy apartment door. Lin Mixu gently helped me take off my coat and even knelt down to switch out my shoes. Seeing me chilling on the massive sofa in the living room, she went to brew a warm cup of green tea. She even meticulously arranged a plate of fruit. These were some top-tier premium snacks. I lounged back on the soft, oversized sofa. After she set everything down, she looked at me and whispered, "Boss, watch some TV while I go mop the floor." Lin Mixu turned and walked away, heading straight toward the bathroom. But before she could take 2 steps, I caught her slender wrist. "Wait up," I said, still lounging on the sofa while holding her hand. "Go wash your face first." I reached over to the coffee table, grabbed a clean, soft tissue, and slowly reached out to gently wipe a tiny crumb off the corner of her lips. My voice turned super smooth and warm as I spoke to her from my spot on the sofa. Lin Mixu waved her hands in a panic and whispered, "There's no need, really, I'm fine, boss." After saying that, she turned to the solid wood coffee table in front of us, grabbed a clean glass cup, poured half a cup of refreshing water, and slowly tilted her head back to gulp it down. "See? That's plenty." Lin Mixu finished her drink, set the cup down, and gave me a playful, crescent-eyed grin. She leaned in super close to my face, parted her rosy lips, and breathed a warm puff of air right at me. Giggling, "Smell that, go on, smell it." See, there's 0 scent left. I was chilling on this massive ultra-soft sofa, looking completely unbothered, but I frowned and pushed her gorgeous frame away, faking disgust as I said, "Get lost. And brush your teeth properly before bed," I muttered. But inside I had to admit, she was right. It really didn't smell like anything. I stayed on the couch, just watching her. Lin Mixu saw my reaction and burst out laughing. "Haha, stop acting like you're so repulsed." She laughed it off, turned on her heel, and strutted toward the bathroom. A moment later, she came back holding a clean mop. She bent over, obsessively scrubbing the floor until it was sparkling. Watching her clean like that, while I loafed on the sofa, I couldn't help but blurt out, "Lin Mixu, you're a total succubus." Lin Mixu looked up and shot back with a grin. "Shufuhai, you're the one who's acting like a total tease. Tonight, I'm definitely going to tame you for good." I laughed, "Bet. Just don't come crying to me about your back pain tomorrow morning." As I lounged on the sofa, a thought crossed my mind. Why is it that I don't actually hate the way Lin Mixu acts? Not only do I not hate it, I'm actually low-key impressed by it. After a second, I realized it's because Lin Mixu is just too good at reading the room. She's obviously playing mind games, but she makes it so damn comfortable. You literally can't find a reason to dislike her. Right on cue, my phone pinged, and I checked it. It was Chuna. "I'm at the gate. Tell the guard yourself." The call connected. On the other end, Chuna's voice sounded ice-cold but noticeably impatient. "Hello, is this Mr. Shu? There's a Miss Chu at the front gate asking for you." A moment later, I could hear their respectful tone through the intercom. "Yeah, I'm the owner of Fuhai Garden Unit 6, I replied casually. The security guard on the other end kept his voice super polite. A few seconds later, the doorbell started ringing. I stood up and headed over to unlock the security door. Standing outside, Chu Na was rocking a black office dress and holding her usual luxury designer bag. Standing right there, her face was literally frozen in an ice-cold glare. She didn't say a word, just stared me down for a bit. She walked right into the middle of the living room, checking out this massive, luxurious pad. Chuna's chest was heaving with pure rage. "Lin Mi, what the hell? Why are you even here?" She was about to go off, but then she caught sight of Lin Mixu mopping the floor. "Nah, why are you here?" Seeing Lin Mixu there, all of Chuna's saltiness turned into straight-up shock. "Didn't you already get a divorce from him?" I looked at Lin Mixu's face, which was plastered with a look of pure panic, and couldn't help but laugh internally. Man, women really are born actors. Chuna suddenly whipped around to face me, pointed at Lin Mixu, and barked, "Shufuhai, what is going on here? Why is Mixu here?" Chuna was absolutely fuming as she marched over to the sofa, sat down, and started interrogating Lin Mixu like she owned the place. "Lin Mixu, you explain yourself." Lin Mixu hurried to put down the mop, walked over to Chuna, and nervously tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. She whispered, "Nah, don't be mad. It's not what you're thinking at all." Watching Chuna's chest rise and fall in anger, Lin Mixu looked totally frantic and rushed to explain, "Mr. Shu, he bought a place here through our company. After that 30 million yuan transaction cleared, Mr. Shu was immediately promoted to a VIP client of the firm, getting full access to our premium concierge services. So Mr. Shu personally requested me to be his dedicated assistant. At first, I was totally against it. I didn't want this personal service job at all, but the company played hardball and wouldn't take no for an answer. They basically told me if I didn't show up to serve the client, I'd be fired on the spot. Now, you know the studio apartment I'm currently renting? The rent alone eats up half my paycheck every month. If I get the boot now, I'll be literally sleeping on the streets." As Lin Mixu reached this part, her eyes turned red, and she looked like she was about to start an Oscar-worthy crying session. She took a few deep breaths, trying her hardest not to let those tears spill over. Hearing Lin Mixu's sob story, Chuna's guard started to drop significantly. She reached out and patted Lin Mixu's back, trying to comfort her. Chuna looked at Lin Mixu and started playing the hero. "It's okay, Mixu, I'll get justice for you from this absolute scum. The audacity of this guy bullying my bestie right in front of me." She turned around and glared at me with absolute hatred. Then with pure rage, she started interrogating me, "Ye Fu. Look, I'll let the whole house buying thing slide for now. You knew perfectly well that Mixu is my best friend. Yet you specifically requested her to be your private servant, and you even made her mop your floors like a maid. How could you be such a piece of trash?" Watching Chuna spiral into an emotional frenzy, I stood up slowly with a deadpan expression and reached over to turn off the TV playing in the living room. I looked at the triggered Chuna and spoke in a tone colder than ice. "That's right, I'm the one who told her to be my personal assistant. So what? I want her to mop my floors, do my laundry, cook my meals, and be my personal chauffeur. So what's the problem?" The second the words left my mouth, Chuna's face went pale as a ghost. I didn't hold back and decided to pour more gasoline on the fire. What if I also wanted her to stay by my side and have her around me every single day? What then? As soon as that last line hit, Chuna's eyes turned bloodshot. "Shufuhai, you absolute lowlife, I'm not done with you yet." With that, Chuna lunged at me like a feral animal on a rampage. She came at me like a total psycho, raising her right hand high fueled by pure unadulterated rage, aiming to smack the living daylights out of me. Predicting her every move like a true pro, I grabbed her wrist in midair and hit her with the coldest glare. Chuna, if you can actually talk like a civilized human being, take a seat. But if you're going to keep acting like a lunatic, don't blame me for what happens next. Struggling in my grip, Chuna shrieked like a banshee. Don't blame you? Let's see what you're gonna do about it. Shufuhai, you piece of trash, I'm going to tear you to shreds today. Watching this toxic drama queen losing her mind and hurling insults at me, Lin Mixu rushed in, trying to play the peacemaker. Seeing her spiral even harder, I shoved her back onto the sofa. The cushions cushioned her landing, but her ego was clearly bruised and she was boiling over. She chucked a teacup right at my head, but I dodged that weak attempt with ease. The cup shattered into 1,000 pieces against the wall. I stared her down and asked if she was finally done with her little tantrum. That cup was worth 6 grand, and you're paying for every single shard. I gave her the cold shoulder. What gives you the right to trash my place? You're paying for the damages, no questions asked. Chuna glared at me with pure unearned arrogance and screamed, "Don't try to scare me, Shufuhai. Since when is this place only yours? Let me tell you something, half of this house belongs to me too. I'll smash whatever I want in here, whenever I want. What are you even gonna do about it, huh?" As soon as those words left her mouth, I hit her with a reality check. Chuna suddenly felt a chill down her spine, her fingers twitching with newfound anxiety. She clutched her clothes, trying to keep her composure as the panic set in. Her brain started racing, desperately recalling the playbook her parents taught her before she came here. Her confidence hit the ceiling again, and that annoying tone of hers got all aggressive. She stretched her neck and shrieked, "This place is half mine." Hearing that nonsense, I literally couldn't help but laugh right in her face. I smirked, my eyes dripping with pure cold sarcasm. I wiped that grin right off my face, stared her down with zero chill and slowly cut her off. "You just said half this house belongs to you? Let me ask you one thing, sweetie. Do you even understand how the law works? I thought you were supposed to be some educated intellectual. How can you embarrass yourself by saying such dumb stuff?" Chuna immediately lost it, slamming her hands on the table and glaring at me with pure hate. "Tufahai, spare me your lecture on the law. I'm asking you, back when we were married, why were you secretly hiding so much money from me? I never saw it coming. You acted all humble and honest, but it was all just a massive act. I spent 16 years of my life with you. You couldn't even bring yourself to buy me a single designer bag. And the second we get divorced, you pull 30 million out of thin air to buy this luxury Riverview penthouse. Doesn't your conscience hurt at all?" Chuna kept ranting, working herself up into a victim complex frenzy. Eventually, her eyes turned red and the crocodile tears started falling. But seeing Chuna pull this poor me act, I didn't feel a single drop of sympathy. With a stone-cold face, I let out a dry laugh and spoke in a totally deadpan voice. "Chuna, for the sake of our past, I'm not going to press charges. You can consider this break-in a one-time free pass, but mark my words, if you ever show your face here again, you're finished. Keep your mouth shut unless you've got some actual receipts. Married for 16 long years, and I've handed over every single penny of my paycheck without missing a cent. Just how much money do I have left? You're the one who knows that best. Accusing me of hiding cash? Fine, show me the receipts then. If you don't have proof, stop running your mouth in here. Listen to me, Chuna. Proof? Oh, that's how it is, Sifuhai. Don't think you've won just because I don't have proof yet. Let me tell you, I will dig up that evidence one way or another. We live in a society ruled by law, everything has to go by the book and moral standard. I've already hired the best attorney in town. Just wait for your court summons, loser." Hearing that, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Fine, I'll be waiting for your lawyer's letter. I'll stick to my word if you can actually produce proof. Forget splitting it in half, I'll give you the whole damn thing. Deal, Sifuhai, you said that yourself, don't you dare go back on it." Chuna fumed. I told her to get her lawyer on it, and if she was done with her tantrum, to show herself the door. I asked with a smirk. Chuna instinctively glanced around the room. "Let's remarry." Chuna spun around shocked, then crossed her arms and demanded it like it was a casual request. "Are you actually high right now?" I asked, completely baffled by her audacity. She insisted she wasn't joking, using our kid as an excuse, claiming she wanted a complete family for Ran Ran. I was speechless, just staring at this woman, wondering where she even found